Welcome back to Destination Pro Wrestling here on YouTube. My name is Tony, and you guys can follow me on Twitter at DPWTony. As always, make sure you guys click that like button, leave a comment down below, and as always, click subscribe. Now today, we are going to address the Ring of Honor controversial incident that recently took place at their live TV taping this past weekend in Oregon. Portland, Oregon, to be specific. If you guys don't know the story, I'm going to shoot it pretty straight for you guys. There was a fan who was in attendance who was basically heckling the Allure. This person says for the longest time as a wrestling fan, when he goes to these shows, he tries to boo the heels and cheer the baby faces, right? Sounds pretty simple, sounds pretty easy. But now this story goes a little bit more viral due to two things. One, he claims that Mandy Leone, which I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, he claims that she actually spit on him. And then he also claims that Ring of Honor security had actually escorted him backstage, in which he was confronted by Bully Ray. Now, this is very controversial for many reasons. One, there's not necessarily a reason why a wrestler should be inviting somebody backstage to confront them. Obviously, safety is at risk and all that good stuff. But also, it's a lot of he said, she said. So we're going to talk about this incident because obviously a lot of people are talking about it. Ring of Honor has made a statement. Bully Ray has made a statement. This fan has pretty much gone viral with this controversial topic. So what better way to talk about it than to introduce our new contributor here on Destination Pro Wrestling. Guys, we have Anthony Nukes on the line, and let's talk about it.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, man. Welcome to the show, Anthony Nukes. You are now a contributor for Destination Pro Wrestling, and today we're actually just talking about the Ring of Honor controversial situation that just happened in their TV taping. So I just basically told my viewers what was going on, and I want to bring you on today to kind of give us, some opinions, what you think really went down, and, some of the things that you think are good and bad from this situation. So obviously, let's kind of start with the nitty gritty. We know what happened. A fan basically went on social media, prepared a long statement that stated Mandy Leone had spit on him because he was heckling her in the crowd, saying a lot of lewd comments and a lot of things that were just inappropriate and unnecessary. This person also claims that they were escorted from security to the backstage, in which he was confronted by Bully Ray. And all of a sudden, there's a lot of he said, she said. So I want to hear how you have to weigh in on this whole scenario.
Honestly, I would like to side with the fan at this one, only because of the fact that had it been anybody else, I doubt Bully Ray would have pointed into the crowd and said, or pointed to security and said, hey, get that guy backstage over here, let's have a talk with him. Only the fact because he's just looking out for his girl, to be honest with you. That's the way I look at it as. The fan had a good statement, basically sided with himself, saying that, hey, I'm just a fan that just goes along with the show. I boo the heels and cheer the faces. So that's pretty much my stance on it. Like I said, had it been anybody else, I doubt Bully Ray would have, pulled him out of the crowd and told him come backstage, let's have a talk. So that's my whole stance on it. It's pretty shitty for an ROH standpoint and wrestling in general, to the point of where, hey, let's not be mean. Let's, watch our words, everything like that. And this is the same guy that, used to cause riots and say a bunch of swear words and, cackle the fans to the point where, like I said, they were starting riots and derogatory terms towards women and children in the crowd. So I don't know why he's acting like this. I mean, I guess people change, but in reality, his girl is playing a character on a show where she's the bad guy. And suddenly, it's all chaos when, he decides to say some hateful things towards his girl. So, like I said, pretty much I agree with the fan. I'm not buying Bully Ray's story one bit, because he does seem like the type of guy that would get offended easily by, a fan calling out one of his loved ones. So
sure. So
that's my stance.
One of the things that's really hard about taking sides in this argument is it's a lot of he said, she said. So the fan basically came out and said that, he was spit on, and obviously then he was escorted by security backstage. He said Bully Ray had said some pretty crazy stuff, and, he ended up just agreeing with it because obviously he didn't want anything big to come out of it. obviously this situation has kind of blown up, and it's not the first time there's been some controversy from Ring of Honor. Now, for me personally, I can't really pick a side here because, again, it is he said, she said. I wasn't there. I really don't know what was actually said. So it is really hard to pick a side when it comes to assumptions. But what does the fan really have to gain by coming out with this viral statement? Obviously, people in the crowd saw that he was being escorted. Is this a situation where Bully Ray is kind of abusing his power? Because obviously Velvet Sky is essentially in Ring of Honor, presumably because of Bully Ray. And obviously Ring of Honor has this whole, faction. They have this whole trio of the Allure. So they are the heel characters. It's basically their own remake of the beautiful people that we saw in Impact Wrestling. A lot of people argue that if it wasn't for Bully Ray, this wouldn't even be a thing in Ring of Honor. So what do you think is causing this situation to be so much more blown up than it really is?
Honestly, just because of social media. I mean, fans are always looking a way to get themselves over. Not saying this guy was, but came on social media, made a quick story. Everyone believed it. I, for one, believe it, just knowing that, like you said, I feel like Bully Ray is the one that is abusing his power here. But him posting on social media and fans seeing it go down, it gets people talking. Everyone loves to hear the bad stories in wrestling. So it just spread like wildfire. I mean, it got to the point where ROH had to, release a statement on it, and Bully Ray's on Twitter defending himself. But at the end of the day, I'm considering it, him abusing his power. Like you said earlier, if he wasn't there, she or Angelina Love and all those, maybe due to the fact that I guess she's dating Delirious or whatever, but as I said, it's him abusing his power and, looking out for his girl in a sense.
Yeah, so what was really interesting, it actually eventually came out that Delirious was the one who escorted this fan backstage, which I, for one, really can't understand why Ring of Honor would even want this to happen. I can't imagine WWE escorting a fan backstage to be confronted by a wrestler. I find it very interesting that this actually happened. And Bully Ray, for one, didn't even deny that this fan was escorted backstage. I find it very confusing. And one thing that I want to mention as well, that I feel like I have to mention this. This crowd is not a high drawing show. Like, this crowd was a lot of empty seats. So does this do a lot more damage to Ring of Honor going forward?
I believe so. It just makes fans not want to boo anymore and chant, not be super hateful, but, just play along with the show to the point where, you're saying mean things. Of course, everyone says mean things at wrestling shows. You don't see WWE pulling people out of the crowd saying, hey, don't talk that way, I mean, from what I know, I haven't seen anything like that, but with ROH doing it, I mean, they can, because let's be honest here, they're drawing like 50 people. And it's easy to point out who's causing the most chaos there. So it all makes sense at the end of the day. And I'm telling you, my personal opinion is that Bully Ray's abusing his power. That's literally it for me.
Okay, and one last question I have for you, because this is not the first time controversy has struck Ring of Honor. And this is the one thing that's making me very fearful for Ring of Honor. But the way that they handle controversies hasn't been too good. And one incident that really kind of strikes a little bit of a nerve with me is the Jay Lethal and Taylor Hendricks story, which I believe was like a year or two ago, maybe even a little bit longer ago. If you recall, basically Taylor Hendricks had come out and said that she was being, basically Jay Lethal is a predator. And, this whole thing came out, a lot of stuff happened, but I don't recall Ring of Honor taking a huge stance on this. I didn't see them, really come out and resolve anything. And it almost seems like Ring of Honor kind of brushes things under the rug. So, with all these incidents happening between fans, wrestlers, and the organization themselves, obviously they're having a hard time drawing fans to begin with. Do you think this will actually impact their attendance going forward?
I don't believe so. I think it's one minor hiccup, and I think maybe fans will get smarter, or ROH will probably just be like, whatever, this guy just being a part of the show, and they'll move on. I don't think this is going to be anything that keeps fans from going. Only thing that keeps fans from not going is if they keep putting out shitty shows, which they have been. Okay.
And actually, I do have one more question for you, because obviously this is a pretty controversial thing that's kind of arose It's kind of rising through the social media ranks. People are obviously talking about it. I know you're kind of siding with the fan here, but I kind of want to revisit a situation that me and you kind of experienced. We went to a local NXT house show in Detroit when they had visited, and it was part of the show. A lot of the characters and wrestlers, and they all kind of embraced the fans heckling the wrestlers in the ring. Does it kind of shock you that WWE is actually, in this sense, they're kind of like the good guys here, because we don't hear of WWE escorting fans backstage to be confronted by a wrestler. And obviously, if we saw Bully Ray, confronting us, it's not a very appealing thing. So, obviously with WWE and Ring of Honor being two different organizations, is there a chance, do you believe there's a chance at all, one bit, that this could be a hoax? Like maybe this is just for, social media clout and stuff like that?
I mean, sure, why not? I mean, look what happened to, Enzo and Cass, for example.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Listen, man, I appreciate you taking your time to join us today on this video. I think you made some really good points. It's going to be really interesting to see how Ring of Honor recovers from this, regardless of, what happens, whether the story is true, whether it's false. It's definitely getting people talking. And I guess, as they say, any publicity is good publicity. So, Mr. Nukes, if you can do us all a favor and share with us your Twitter handle, that way we can plug away and have all of our viewers hit you up, as they will be seeing more of you pretty soon.
You can follow me at Anthony Nukes. Send me a follow, and I'll be sure to follow back. I enjoy talking wrestling with literally anybody from anywhere. So shoot me a follow and tweet at me and say you listen to me on the show, and I'll be sure to click that follow button.
Awesome, man. Well, again, thank you so much for being on the show. I look forward to talking to you soon. And as always, you have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you for having me.
Yep. So there it is, guys. Anthony Nukes weighing in on the conversation. He believes that the fan is in the right here. And obviously, like I said, he said, she said, there's so much going on here. It is hard to pick sides when it comes to assumptions. But he doesn't believe Ring of Honor will be affected by this. I do find it to be a very interesting situation. So I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. As always, this is Tony from Destination Pro Wrestling, and I'll see you guys next time.